So welcome to a review of the semi-finals of the Time Ground Nutrition 3 Steps to Victory and a preview of the final this coming Sunday with me, Rob Crawford, Willie Rigney from our sponsor Time Ground Nutrition, and Andrew Mascarenas, the Director of Racing at Owlerton Stadium. First of all, thanks very much for your time today, gentlemen. And it was a very impressive semi-finals on Sunday, wasn't it?
Was indeed, yeah. Everything went more or less to plan, yeah.
That's it. And Andrew, were you pleased the way that the semi-finals panned out?
Yeah, maybe not pleased 6 railers in the final, but it went pretty much as expected. And I would say Chelmsford and Wickinghead looked the strongest going to the trip, so it'll be an interesting final on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll take a few moments and we'll look over the three semi-finals of the Time Ground Nutrition 3 Steps to Victory, which of course is over the 500-meter trip. The first of those semi-finals saw the eventual winner of that semi-final, Chelmsford, was in 1. Carrickfergie also qualified, who was in trap 4 here. So as we can see, the Greyhounds, Carrickfergie didn't get quite the best of starts, but does power through very strongly. Chelmsford is out the back over to go over the sectional line for the first time. Chelmsford is powering on pretty nicely here, and as they go down the back straight, that's when Chelmsford picks up Flying Desire, almost swoops past just as they exit the back straights, and then it's a catch me if you can. And unfortunately, or fortunately for Chelmsford, it did catch Carrickfergie just on the line. So that was a really impressive run. Andrew, how did you see that, and were you impressed with the way that Chelmsford came through?
Yeah, I was very impressed with Chelmsford. It obviously repeated what it did in the heat and was impressive in the heat and the semi-final, coming from last to first, and it went well to the trip as well. Carrickfergie didn't look that strong over 500, so it'll be interesting over 6 bends. But Chelmsford very, very impressive once again for Craig Morris.
Yeah, exactly. So, Willie, what were your thoughts on that first semi-final?
Yeah, similar again. Like me, Carrick, lots of early. It's questionable whether he's going to see that distance out, the 660 or whatever. Chelmsford ran a cracker last the first again, plumb draw in 1, and that stands to him as well because he's able to get the gaps. He hooks the rails. He's able to get the gaps and gets running, and he's a huge player once he gets running. He's possibly the strongest. He's the given strongest dog that's there of the 6 presently anyway, But yeah, Carrick, it's just hard to see where he's going to get other 160 odd yards because he's even a bit short at the 500, you think,
Yeah, that's right. No, it's good. It was definitely the most thrilling of the semi-finals. The second of the semi-finals, we saw Wickinghead in a trap number 3 for this one, and Arthur Job also qualified, who was in the red jacket. So we see Wickinghead come out pretty well, takes a nice straight line, and then heads towards rails, and it's almost a case of running for second place. But Arthur Job does sort of keep him up to his work, but then the class shines through. So Wickinghead then powers through. You see as you go around the tavern turn, it's just the line and stern, Wickinghead and Arthur Job. As they come into the home straight, we've got Wickinghead, who's putting further and further clear, and then Arthur Job is also qualifies. Wickinghead was the fastest of the semi-finals, and his winning time was 28:45. But Andrew, what were your thoughts on Wickinghead? And obviously now 9 starts over 500 meters at Owlerton, 8 wins and 1 second place, so a real good record.
Yeah, it's obviously a star of the ground race, but obviously a star at Sheffield as well. Its record at Sheffield is absolutely outstanding. It was interesting watching it to the trip as well. Arthur Job was making no inroads whatsoever going to the trip. So could get a nice run over at 6 wins, mate. Surprised a few people if it looks like it stays quite well, to be honest.
Exactly. And Willie, you've come across Wickinghead a few times over the years, and
I have. This is no doubt. I'm a huge fan of his, but that was a Paul perfect performance, and he's shown lovely early, but really he turned the screw going down to 3rd, and away he was going, and Yeah, I've no doubt about getting to 660, I'd say. And you know what I mean? There's stamina in the family. He's a sister or brother here in Ireland that's pretty strong over the distance as well. And it looks, the 660 looks nailed on for him. I'm not concerned about that. It's probably, we've talked in a few minutes, his draws possibly a problem. But Paul Perfect, like our job is there on merit. But as I said to you, he was there putting it up to him till the third. But just good night Vienna after that, like, you know.
Exactly, yeah. And of course, Arthur Job is the youngest of our finalists. So he turned, I believe he turns two on Saturday. So he's a real baby and real and I think he's got a promising career in front of him. I'm sure we'll see him in a lot of these big finals in the coming years.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. It was funny. I was talking to. I was up at Newcastle during the week, and I was talking to a couple of the guys up there, and they were asking me about Wiki Ned and what my thoughts were, and how thrilling the Chelms Bear, the Chelms Bear and Carrickfergie semi final was, and then I put it into perspective, and I said, yeah, it was a thrilling finish, but if you look at them, if you place them on the track with the timings, Wiki Ned was still 5 lengths in front of what Chelms Bear and Carrickfergie were. So that sort of puts that into a further perspective as well.
Yeah, I think we're on a 2.5 length off clock Wiki Ned, so obviously he loves it around Sheffield, so it was a very, very impressive run. I think it was opened up at 4 to 6 at some bookmakers, which were crazy as well.
Yeah,
Those tight buys in Brez bet there, and tell you one thing, they're keeping them on side, huh?
always the case, always the case. So we had the third of the semi-finals. We've got Droopy's Extra Good, the winner in 4, Kilmore Dancers in 1. Droopy's Extra Good gets out. Kilmore Dancer comes through, but we've got Brooklyn's Louis leading rivals out before Droopy's Extra Good goes through, and then Kilmore Dancers staying on pretty strongly. And I think I'm not too sure whether I think Mark is quite positive about the way that Kilmore Dancer is liable to run over the extended distance, but we see Droopy's Extra Good still leading Kilmore Dancer out, and they come through in the slowest of the semi-finals. That was won in a time of 28:97 for Droopy's Extra Good. But another greyhound that runs Sheffield really well was a finalist in the Gym Crack last year, and did make a load of the puppy finals, and obviously runner up in the Olympic, if memory serves me correctly. So yeah, Andrew, what were your thoughts on that third semi-final?
I think Droopy's actually took full advantage of Marfield Oscar jumping for the rail trail out of the boxes, and once it led, as I said, it's run well at Sheffield as a puppy before, and made some good puppy finals as well. So it's obviously a class dog. Whether it stays as well as the other two heat winners, I'm not too sure, but it's certainly on there on merit as well. And Mark's always in with a chance in a final, any big final.
Yeah, exactly. Willie?
Yeah, similar. Like it was, I suppose, of the three semi-finals, it's more workman-like type of a race. Like, you know what I mean? Two dogs raced one another hard the whole way around. Wouldn't be as impressive as the other two semi-finals. But again, Mark to be feared in a final, take nothing from Extra Good. He got every yard of it, but it didn't seem to be just putting up the same type of performance as the two previous semi-finals. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously the headache that was I remember Andrew saying after the third semi-final, I think you had your head in your hands, saying we got 6 railers through to the final. So and then we've got the draw for the final, where we've got Chelms Bear is in 1, Carrickfergie in 2, Kilmore Dancer in 3, Droopy's Extra Good is in 4, Arthur Jobs in 5, and Wiki Ned in 6. So it's definitely another head scratcher, as the whole competition has been, which is one of the unique features of this 3 Steps to Victory, where the greyhounds are having to develop and change at every turn. But Willie, how do you see the draw?
I would say, listen, always a problem like when you have 16 inside seeds or somebody going to get the outer boxes they don't want. But there's an old saying I know in England, but we just say it here, like if 16 inside seeds, the place to be is in 1 or 6. So I would think Craig will be happy with his dog in 1. The Bison with Carrick will be happy in 2. Mark's dog ran middle anyway, so he'd be happy enough there. extra guard 1 out of 4. And sure, Arthur Job, you know what I mean? He obviously would like the inside, but he has ran out of 5 previous. And Wiki, okay, Jimmy's the lad won't say too much. He'll be happy enough to be there and take his draw. But it'll be a case that he'll have to be out and gone though.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you could see Carrick Fergie maybe using that burst of early pace to lead rivals out, and you
Yeah,
know,
you would expect
question.
him to boss the inside, and with the quick drop in, but that might just suit Townsbury. He might get a nice little drop in behind him, like you expect that Carrick will lead him out. I don't know where Kilmore, but the main thing with Wiki is to be out there. He doesn't get himself left on the outside going around the top 2 bends, or the first
Yeah.
2 bends, should I say,
I must admit the question mark over Chelm's Bear is we know he's going to be finishing strongly. I think the question mark is will the gaps appear at the right time?
Mm.
With 6 railers, will he be? Will there be 4 dogs in front of him trying to get the same bit of real estate that he is as the race develops?
Yeah, I must admit that, like, you know what I mean. It depends if somebody goes a definite left. You know what I mean. It leaves him in trouble, like, you know what I mean, holding the line, like, But I expect even if Carrick does it, he'll be gone out in front of him anyway. So he'll get a toe behind Carrick. It depends where Kilmore or extra guard goes in. But neither of them seem to really. Well, extra guard did hug the rails coming home, but they ran middle enough, like.
That's right, Andrew. What are your thoughts on the draw for the final?
Well, 6 rails isn't ideal, but I think you've got a decent split of pace. Obviously, you've got Carrick Fergie and Wicky Ned, the early pace setters. Arthur Job tends to drop out, likes a bit of a early. Um, so Chelm's Bear, Kilmore, Dancer extra good. I think they should have a decent amount of room, as long as they don't end up catching any of the rails on the bend. If you catch them down the back straight, I think you get a very interesting race. But like I said, Wicky Ned is what 4, 5, 6 lengths quicker than anything over 500. Will it get far enough in front to hold off the fast finishing Chelm Bears? Or will something else surprise us as well? Like I say, you can't rule any of the finalists out. They're all there on merit.
I'm gonna get you to now your colours to the mast now. Willie, I'm going to give you £50 or €50 because obviously we do we're very inclusive here at Howlerton. Um, where's your €50 going to go on in that final?
Thanks very much, lads. After you making a pig's ear to draw yet, maybe you go and put 50 quid on a dog then in the race, right? Listen, I want to start Wiki now. I'm a big fan of Wikis. I'll go Wiki. All right.
Okay, so Willie, you're with Wiki. Andrew, where's your €50 or £50 going to go?
I will agree with Willie, purely on Wikined's record round Sheffield, and the time it's got in hand over 500. I think if it's a relatively clean run race and how it went to the trip, I think it will stay the trip out well.
So
And I
I'm,
think it will do
I'm,
quite a
I'm,
special run as well.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Wiki Ned, but just to make it a little bit more interesting, I think Chelm's Bear might be Chelm's Bear's going to run him very close, and I don't know how close he's going to run him. I've seen we've seen Wiki Ned win in photographs before, and that might be the case again. That's
Maybe.
great. But one thing's for sure, we've got six great greyhounds in the final of the Time Greyhound Nutrition 3 Steps to Victory on Sunday. They're all there
Yes.
on
Yep.
merit, and we'd like to wish them all a very good luck. And we're going to have a mouth-watering final at 1 minute past 5 on Sunday afternoon.
Well, indeed. Listen, but again, sentiments from the us, the sponsors, like, I mean, and good patrons that we have there. Fabulous final. Well done to everyone there in Northerton and yourself, Rob. We'll see everybody there Sunday. Will be there. Anyone wants to have a chat. But the best luck to all 6 finals. They're all there on merit.
Absolutely. And Andrew, I'm sure I'm sure you very much repeat those sentiments. It's been a really good competition to be part of.
Well, it's always a brilliant competition. Obviously, thanks to Willie and Shane for sponsoring it again. It's massively appreciated, and I think they do a fantastic job sponsoring competitions in England and in Ireland. We've got a very good final on our hands, multiple Cat 1 winners and Cat 1 finalists in the final, so it's worked out very well. It's always a great competition, the 3 Steps.
Yeah, that's great. Well, good. Look forward to seeing you all on Sunday. We'll all be in the same place rather than in different parts of the screen, which is always nice to see. And we will try and get your thoughts, Willie, on the day, just to see what you think of things, and we'll get that out there on social media on Sunday as well.
Well done. Listen, lads, look forward to Sunday and best luck to everybody. All right.
Yes,
Thanks, Ali. Thank you very much.
and now we're going to have a chat with all six of our finalists. First of all, we're going to be talking to Craig Morris. He's got Chelm's Bear in trap number one. I'm here with Craig Morris, who's got Chelm's Bear in the final of the Time Ground Nutrition 3 Steps to Victory. First of all, congratulations, Craig, on reaching the final. And it was a thrilling finish to that semi-final. How did you see it? And did you think that the Bear had got up on the line or not?
I didn't think he got up, no. From the middle, obviously looking across, I couldn't see him because of the angle. But I'll be honest with you, I wasn't really bothered whether he got up or not. I was just happy he qualified. Do you know what I mean? I actually thought Gary's dog had won. Like, I congratulated him. I said, "Oh, well done, mate." I said, I was just buzzing. I was in the final. And then somebody said, "Oh, it's come up as one." And then obviously he'd won. So that was just a bonus. But I was just happy to be in the final, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. So we did have a little look through the semi-finals before, and he didn't break the best, but that's his game, and he's tracked down Carrickfergus really well, and he's come round that third and fourth bend into the home straight with a real wet sail, and obviously just got up there on the line, but no, really really well done, and he's sort of growing very nicely into the competition, isn't he?
Yeah, he seems to really taken to the track. To be honest, I wasn't convinced he'd like the track because obviously, as you know, they're not very long straights, all the big bends, and you're always on the turn. But he seems to run the bends as well as he does the straights. You know what I mean? Like he's passed dogs at the third bend a couple of times, and like you say, he's running the semi-final. I don't think another dog in the country would have picked up Carrickfergus from 8 lengths behind and picked it up. I really don't. Like on the rabbit like that, he's a phenomenal dog. I said so. The running he did was quite scary, actually.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you look at I know we spoke when we spoke prior to the semi-finals, and we looked at the distances it gave away. But even on the sectional, he gave away 2 lengths at the sectional line between the 500 boxes and the line the first time. So that's just at that point. So he's definitely growing into more of a more of a staying on strongly dog, which is obviously what we need in the 660s.
Yeah, definitely, and he has got a good break in him. He's done a 404, 405 in Toaster. He just where that's gone, I don't know. Like it'd be handy if he's just got it in the back pocket. And he's bringing it for Sunday. I don't know, but he can trap. He doesn't trap very often, but he can. It's not like he can't. You know what I mean? So, like I say, hopefully he's keeping that one for Sunday.
Yeah, fingers crossed for that. Fingers crossed. So obviously 6 railers into the final, and you're thinking, God, I don't want to be in trap, and you've got trap 1, which is maybe I've been discussing it over the week with a few different people, and I think that's almost a perfect draw for him, especially with Carrickfergus, who we know's got lots of pace. Who we know has got lots of pace, he's got a good chance of slotting in behind and getting the slipstream in.
Yeah, obviously I spoke to yourself and Jimmy when you were going about to go and do the draw, and I wasn't too worried, to be honest, because he's probably going to be last. I know that he starts virtually on the bend, but bring his trapping boots. So I thought, but obviously when he got one, it was a bonus. I think the way the draw is, I couldn't have put it any better, really. Obviously, Wicking Head's out in 6. I've got the Carrickfergus dog in 2. I think the key to the race for me is the Carrickfergus dog smashing out like he did in the 480, and trying to stop Wicking Head getting on the bunny and bowling along in front. Obviously, there's 3 other good dogs in there as well. I think it's a wide open final, but I think a lot of people's opinion is Bear will stay. I think Bear will stay where they're a bit unsure if the rest will. Do you know what I mean? So, listen, I just like I said to you in the semi-final, I just want a clear run. If we get a clear run, he'll be there or thereabouts. That's all we want.
It's down to merit. And how's the preparation gone this week? I know the early part of the week hasn't been great with the extreme weather conditions that we've had over different parts of the country. How has it affected your preparation?
Yeah, no, he's been all right. He's not a very excitable dog anyway. We've been doing more towards the back end of the day, 10 o'clock at night. I'll take him for a little stroll on that. he went to George Drake on Tuesday. He checked him over, and he's in good form. There's always a bit of this, bit of that treatment, but he's come out the race pretty well. He's happy with him, so I'm happy with him. And yeah, no, preparation's been great. Can't get many better. He's bouncing in himself. He's really well. There's no excuses this end. It's just up to him now.
Yeah, no, so fingers crossed. Well, like I said, congratulations on reaching the final. It's another big race that you're going to be involved in, and it's nice to see that Chelmsford Bears develops into it. And best of luck for Sunday. And thanks very much for your time.
Thanks a lot, Rob. Cheers, mate. See you Sunday.
Thank you. See you Sunday. I'm here with Gary Hamilton, who trains Carrick Fergie, Trap 2 in the final for the big one, the Time Grand 3 Steps to Victory, which takes place over 660 metres on Sunday afternoon. First of all, congratulations on getting Fergie through to the final. It was a tight old finish there for the semi-final with Chelmsford Bear, wasn't it?
It was all by it was that, like, it was a close race. Good butt.
Yeah, exactly. It's because and what were your thoughts? Because obviously it's difficult to see in real time when you're walking across the track and trying to keep up with the action. And he's drawn so far in front, and you must have seen it wasn't until halfway down the back straight that Chelmsford Bear sort of got into gear in the semi-final.
I was actually watching it coming down the back, and then it got the gap going into the third, and it was me closing him coming into the fourth, and then I was hoping he hung on, but he didn't. So listen, it is what it is. It was a good race. So another run under his belt, and just hope for that wee bit extra fitness for this week. And it's a good draw, So
yeah, exactly. So obviously we've got 6 railers into the final, which is never ideal in any competition. But drawing Trap 2 with Chelmsford Bear on the inside, which isn't the fastest starters. How do you see the draw?
I don't know, like, because it's one of them. It doesn't matter what you think, anything could happen on the night, but I'm hoping I'm hoping the wee and bangs out, and he gets on that rail in front. But I don't know what's going to happen. It's one of them. Every dog in that race is top class. So
yeah,
could be worse. Could be further out. But I think I've got a perfect draw for him where he wants to be anyway.
Yeah, I suppose it's one of those things you can only worry about what your greyhound can do, and he's got the perfect draw. It'll be for others to pass him if they get up to him, isn't it? If they catch him up.
Aye, that's it. It's not nice to say, but you're just in my head. I'm just wanting him out on the bunny, and there's a wee bit bother at the back, and then it's catch me if you can. But know what I mean. So that's the way I can only see him winning it.
Yeah. But you must be immensely proud of the way that he's performed, getting to this far in the competition. Obviously, the huge scalp of Wicky Ned in the 480 metre heat, only being beaten by the shortest of margins last time in the semi final. He's really put you on the map again, isn't he?
Well, you didn't get any bigger than that, Doug, do you? So. And Jimmy as well, top trainer. That's good. I just like being involved in it in the big competitions where it's all right going to your one-off opens and that, know what I mean? But it's not the same buzz. And like I said in my last interview, you start at the bottom and you work your way up. You want to be at the top, and like that's what drives me. Just being in these big competitions, but it's harder for us as well. Know what I mean? Because I'm only buying the dogs ourselves, so you're up against it if you get where I'm coming from with that. Know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, obviously you've not got the bankroll behind.
No, exactly.
Behind you that some of the bigger kennels have got. So you have to work with what you've got. You have done a fantastic job with it, and I think it's one of those things that somebody actually said to me, "Wow, is that what Gary Hamilton looks like?" And I said, "Yeah, I've got." It's one of those things where I think you've put yourself on the map here very much so. Obviously, it's not your first Cat 1 final. You got through to the All England Cup, I believe, the Classic a couple of times in the Steel City here.
Steel City Cup, mate.
Yeah, it's really good the fact that people are actually starting to sit up and take notice of you.
Well, I say that's where I want to be, but sometimes you hear good luck sometimes. Well, majority of the time you hear bad luck, but it seems to be going good now. So fingers crossed it keeps going that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, whatever happens, we know that there's going to be a fantastic final on Sunday, and fingers crossed that. Well, fingers crossed for yourself that at just after 5 o'clock, the trophy will be going back north of the border.
One of them, mate. Just fingers crossed. Like it's going to be a tricky race, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's great. But Gary, good luck. Good luck with the rest of your preparation prior to the final, and look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
No worries, Rob. Cheers.
Thank you. So, champion trainer Mark Wallace has trap 3 in the big one, Kilmore Dancer. Kilmore Dancer was second in the third of the semi-finals. First of all, Mark, congratulations for getting Kilmore Dancer through to the final of the Time Grand Nutrition 3 Steps to Victory. And how did you think his semi-final went? Were you pleased with his performance?
Yeah, hi Rob. To be honest, I thought he was very impressive in the first round over 480. He got in front and really drew away and was really impressive. In the 500, I think it was a case of the complete opposite. Yeah, missed his break, got stuck behind a couple of dogs, got past, but really just had to work hard to get into the final. Never showed anywhere near the kind of pace he showed in the first round. To be honest with you, it looked a bit of a penalty kick, but turned out to nothing against the winner or anything. That's a good dog, and he was a disappointing second, really. But he's in the final now, and we'll have to see what we can do.
Yeah, so and are you pleased with the draw? The trap 3 in the final, considering where the other greyhounds are placed.
Well, 6 railers in a final. I always think you either want to be in 1 or 6 in those kind of situations. To be honest with you, I know 6 sounds funny, but it quite often isn't a bad draw. If you're out there, you seem to be able to get clear. We've had that before ourselves, like stuck in the middle. No good, no good for us really. We needed trap 1 or possibly trap 6. Like so poor draw.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. And I take it you've seen the 3 of the semi-finals. Any of the other greyhounds that sort of caught your eye? Obviously, there was a thrilling first semi-final with Chelmsford's Bear just coming on top of Carrick Fergie, and obviously Wicked Ned, the fastest semi-final winner in the second semi-final.
Yeah, they ran really well, much quicker than our. They looked a league above the rest of them. The Chelmsford obviously switched to Craig Morris now. Craig's good trainer. He's been around the block a few times and he knows what he's doing. He's got a really good dog there. It's got a great draw, so it's got tremendous middle gears. It's a short run to the bend, the 660. A lot can happen in that short run to the bend, but being on the rails is always a big advantage. Wicked Ned is the class act. Obviously, Jimmy's dog's greyhound of the year last year, and that's won so many titles. And as much as trap 6 seems difficult, as I alluded to, often trap 6 in all rail affairs is not the worst draw in the world. And that class act, I'm sure that will stay if it did come out.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is how the preparations with Kilmore Dance are coming along. Obviously, the early part of the week's been very hot all over the UK, of which it looks glorious. Down at HQ today for you. But how is that going?
It's uncomfortably warm. It's humid. It's horrible. Sticky. Dogs hate it. Best thing you can do is keep them in the kennels and put all the blowers on and make sure they're as cool as possible. Thankfully it's gonna freshen up a bit tomorrow, and the temperature, although still warm, is going to be a lot different to the last 2 or 3 days. We should there'll be no excuses for that fellow. He'll be spot on for the final on Sunday. He's one chance is to absolutely blast out, because I definitely think he's a different dog when he's on the bunny. and as I say, if he could come back to that form of the 480 where it was quite awesome, on the bunny, I think he'll stay. If he's behind, zero chance in my opinion. But on the bunny, I think he'd be a very, very, very difficult dog to back run.
Great stuff. Well, Mark, thanks ever so much for your time today. And we look forward to seeing you and Kilmore Dancer on Sunday.
Yeah, and thank you very much to the sponsors and to Sheffield. They've done a great job with this competition. We're really looking forward to it and really pleased to be in the final.
Great stuff. Cheers, Mark. Thanks ever so much.
Yeah.
So I'm here with Mike Pacey, assistant trainer to Heather Dimmock, who has Drippy's Extra Good in the final of the Time Greyhound Nutrition 3 Steps to Victory on Sunday. So first of all, welcome, Mike. I know it's been difficult finding the time for it that we've both been available to do this, but thanks very much for your time and congratulations on reaching the final.
Yeah, thanks a lot. No, it's about time.
That's it. Well, actually, I should probably say congratulations on reaching yet another final, because Droopy's Extra Good obviously burst onto the scene in getting to the final of last year's Gym Crack, and then obviously made three puppy Cat 1 finals. Obviously, runner-up in last year's Olympic down at Hove, and is a real greyhound that's sort of there or thereabouts in the mix of things in these big competitions.
Yeah, he's had 4 Cat 1 finals. He's always found one or two a little bit too good for him. He's been a little bit unlucky. Of course, he come up against Wiki Ned in the Gym Crack at Sheffield last year.
That's right, yeah, which was obviously a phenomenal performance. But I remember talking to you. Just started obviously run up behind Wiki Ned in that Gym Crack, stayed on pretty strongly. I remember talking to you when you were runner up in the semi-final, and you were quite shocked the fact that you were qualified for the final. But obviously you've gone from strength to strength since then.
Yeah, I think that was the first competition we put him in after we had him. And he just ran really well. He just kept on improving all the time, really.
That's right. Well, we've just had a quick look at the third semi-final where you did win in a time of 28.97. Not the fastest of times, but it was still a really impressive performance, and you made it through to the final on merit. And how did you feel that his run in the semi-final went?
Yeah, he ran well. He broke a lot better from the middle. He hasn't been breaking well, to be fair, from the inside. But we was against one of Mark's dogs at Hove in the Regency. Oh no, the Olympics, sorry. And I think we drew out in 4 or 5 then. And he broke really well and tracked Mark's dog all the way around and was second there. But this time he cracked out, and the Kilmore dog was behind him and never looked like catching him, to be fair.
Yeah, no, so a really positive run. Brinkley's Louis, the Tom Helbron's dog, broke best on the outside. The new chap tracked it through, and then Droopy's Extra Good tracked it through. About halfway down the back straight, took over, and then it was just to catch him if you can. And Kilmore Dancer did come in at 3/4 of length behind, but I don't think was catching very quickly or going to catch at all at that point.
No, fella, we'll pull a little bit more out if he needs to. And he ran pretty straight to the first bend as well, which was a bonus. He missed a little bit of trouble, and then once he got on the rail, then that's where he wins his races. Really, you can take a few lengths out just by keeping tight on the rail.
Yeah. Well, obviously there's 6 railers made it through to the finals. There was always going to be some disappointment when the draw was made, and you've been drawn in track 4. Kilmore Dancer is on your inside in 3. You got Arthur Job in 5. There's the pacey Carrot Fergie's in 2. Chelm's Bear, who's shown that he can stay pretty strongly in 1, and Wiki Ned, that your old sparring partner, let's say, is in the stripes of 6. And how did you feel when you heard the draw?
I'd rather be 4 than 1. I think Wiki Ned's got a good draw in 6 because it's a short run to the bend, turn, and you can crack on there. I don't. There's not too much scrimmaging on the inside, but you just don't know because nobody's actually been over it yet.
No, exactly. That's the big question mark. Will the greyhound stay? And I think looking at it, there's question marks over all the runners whether they will stay or not. There's always the theory that some will.
I think a couple showed in the semi-finals they didn't stay on that strong. I think we'll stay. Well, we've always planned after this competition we was stepping up 6 bends anyway. So that was always the plan with him. And when he'll stay, I don't know.
That's it. Well, I think that was a question I posed when we looked at the preview of the heats with Jimmy Fennick and Mark Wallace, and I said to Mark, Mark, you've looked at this, you've won this competition in the past. Do you look for a dog that a proven stayer that you think can sneak through the rounds and get through to the final, or do you go for a dog which is can get to the final and you just hope will stay? And he says, well, no, we're probably going to look for a dog where it's like the next step up. It's the next step through. Maybe we'd give them the sort of 5.75 route at Romford, and then look to set them up further. And it's just they're making their debut on the biggest stage of being a Cat 1 final.
Yeah, I mean Barnsley Berry, he won Derby final last year over the 712. Flew round, but and he just about stayed. But that's a hard 7-1-2 at total for him. I think we beat him about four or five runs after that. We had a very good run, and he just missed his break a little bit, and we cracked out, and he nearly picked us up, but not quite. But I think it'd be a good race.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Well, and obviously it's been this week in most parts of the UK, especially down near your Toaster base. It's been really, really quite warm. Is that impeded the preparation at all, or is it everything still going to plan?
No, I mean it was pretty warm the week before. We got a swimming pool here, so we had a little swim a couple of days ago. Same routine really, just on Monday when it was really hot, we didn't do much of them until we got them done early, and then I'll just take him for a walk in the evening time. That's about it really. Sort of midday-ish, they just lay their kennels. It's all cool in there. The fans are on, and they just sleep basically.
Sounds just like my retired greyhounds at home. So fantastic. Well, Mike, always a pleasure to see you up at Sheffield. You're always welcome, and Droopy's Extra Good loves it around Sheffield, and we look forward to seeing you and Droopy's Extra Good on Sunday for the final of the Time Greyhound Nutrition 3 Steps to Victory.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thanks for your time. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you. Goodbye.
So welcome to Pat Godfrey, who joins us from his base down in Wiltshire. First of all, hi to you, Pat. Thanks very much for joining us, and just to talk about Arthur Job on making the final of the Time Greyhound Nutrition 3 Steps to Victory. Well done.
Thanks very much.
Yeah,
looking forward to the final.
It's a mouth-watering final. We'll have a quick look at we'll just have a quick chat about the semi-final first. Obviously,
sure.
it was a quite an interesting heat. Obviously, Wiki Ned what was your semi-final winner, but a little bit of a bump out of the traps that you bumped into Tabletop as the Mark Wallace runner, just coming out of the traps, but you sort of hugged the rail quite well, and you sort of tracked Wiki Ned round to qualify in second position. Were you pleased the way that you ran?
I was, yeah. He's not normally great at trapping. He trapped okay actually on Sunday. In the first round, we had a real bumpy ride, but it was fairly straightforward. He kind of turned right a little bit, I think, out the boxes, and he was handy on the first bend. And when he was handy, I thought we'd go close, but Wiki Ned is just something else, isn't it? I was looking down the back straight, and I was thinking, oh, we might pick this one up, and then I realised who it was, and
exactly, yeah, no,
and realised, I mean. But in fairness to young Arthur Job, or Fred as he's known, he kept plugging on, and it was the second fastest time of all the qualifiers, which kind of surprised me a little bit, because I did watch the other heats, and I thought we probably would have been a little bit slower. But Ned did a fantastic time. He's a real proper machine.
Yeah.
And no, at 2 years old, I mean, he was only 2 this week. My dog, I'm really proud of him. He's only had 14 runs, all been in very, very good company, top class. We've finished ahead of some decent dogs in previous races. So for one so young, I'm just delighted. Really, we're going to be massive outsider, but I'm just delighted to be there on Sunday.
Yeah, certainly. To be honest, he's there on merit. We're not entirely sure. Well, you might have know whether he's gonna. You think he might stay the 660, but like you said, he's only 2, or he's only just turned 2. I think his official birthday is on Saturday. This Saturday coming, so the day before.
That's right.
The day before the big final.
Yeah.
So, we'll hopefully there won't be too much cake going around the kennels on Saturday.
Well, there might be for me, but that's every day. But no, for once, I think probably, in all fairness, it's probably a year too early. I think he will. I think he will get it, but whether he's going to get it this week, I don't know. Anybody that watched the race last week will know that Wiki Ned just kept going, and the further he went, the better. But he went. We made no impression on him really after the line. So we're up against it, but frankly, I don't give a monkeys. I'm in the final, and I'm looking forward to it. Sheffield have been great, I have to say. It's been a pleasure driving the 4 hours every Sunday, but it's been worth it because the team up there are fantastic. And
it's always lovely seeing you when you do come up to Sheffield. Obviously, you travel up from Wiltshire. We have in the final we've got Gary Hamilton coming down from Scotland. We've got Craig Morris coming over from Yarmouth. So that you've all driving a similar sort of length of time. Obviously, Jimmy Fenwick's coming down from the northeast, so he's got a good 3 odd hour drive. Mark Wallace as well, another 3 or so. Drive. So it's really and then obviously with Heather Dimmock coming up from Toaster, not quite as, but you've all had to travel a fair distance, and we do like to think that we do look after you well at Sheffield, and you as a trainer have been very supportive of a lot of our open competitions.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of limited in the number of dogs I can sort of spread around. The maximum I ever have is 8. I've probably got about 6 now. I'm just rehoming 2 this week, which is lovely. But for such a small they're all my own dogs. I don't train for anyone. I just do it purely for a bit of fun and as a hobby. It's not. I've been kind of lucky in business, so it allows me to get in the van at the weekend and go somewhere with the dogs. So no, I love it. And the tournament, the competition at Sheffield's been great. There's been some tremendous dogs. It's a real leveler, this 3 different distances, because there's a few in the final. Will they stay? Won't they stay? Kelms Bear looked absolutely did a tremendous amount of running last week. I mean, it didn't look like it was going to qualify coming off the second bend, and it ended up winning. I mean, it was a tremendous run. But there's some tremendous dogs, and I think the trap draws are interesting for Sunday. I don't know if you
going on to the trap draw. Obviously, you're drawn out in trap number 5, which was the same trap that you had for the 480 heats. So what are your thoughts on being drawn just outside, or just inside Wiki Ned?
Well, I don't think we'll lead him up, that's for sure, and I don't think we'll backrun him either. So we're going to be up against it, but I don't know where he's going to go out the traps. I don't think we're draw dependent. Like I said, he was in trap 5 in the first round. He got round okay. We got messed up a little bit at the first bend, but if he turns handy over 480, 500, he's going to come at you, So I was always confident that we'd qualify once he got round that first bend. I was a bit worried when I got 5 in the first round, but we got 5 in the final. I think we might be following him round, to be honest. And for us, we're relying on something to happen out of the ordinary that gives us a chance. I don't think he's probably the fastest dog in the race, but he's not the slowest either. So it's a greyhound race. I've turned up at the track many times thinking I'm going to win and come home miserable. And there's been many times when, Arthur Jobs' first run, I think at Monmore, I didn't really think his first run was in the Puppy Open before the Munmore Puppy Derby. I didn't think he had much chance, and I think he won it something like 20-1 or 18-1.
Yeah, it was.
And then
It was really big. I think his first win on debut was about 12-1 or something, and then he came out the week before or just before the Monmore Puppy competition and won at 22-1. So he can do the business.
That's right, and we picked up some good dogs in that race. If you watch the race, Romeo Tomcat was in that race. We picked that up, and in the semis, I think Droopy's Aladdin was leading. It was decent, and we picked that up, and that didn't qualify. So he will come at you, but whether he's going to come at you over 660, I don't know. I personally, I think it's probably a year too early for him, but I think he deserves to take his chance. He's a lovely dog. He's just dead easy. He's a bit of a whiner, but aren't we all sometimes?
Yeah, excellent. Of course, yeah.
But no, he's a lovely dog. He's in against some really fantastic greyhounds that have done They've got much more history than he's got. But no, I'm just very pleased to be in it. Very pleased. I can't tell you.
You did touch on the Monmore Puppy competition, in which you did reach the final of, which is 2 Cat 1 finals, and he's only just turned 2. Is no mean feat in itself.
Yeah. I mean, 2 Cat 1 finals in 14 runs, you'd be pleased, wouldn't you? A lot of people were like, "Oh, bring them up through the grades," and I'm not like that. I think if they're fast enough, I put them in, and I put him in the Monmore Puppy Derby after about 2 runs. And no, he did credit getting to the final. He got a little bit messed up in the final itself, and we couldn't really get at them. We were always chasing, but he finished 3rd, and it was a decent race and a decent time. So he's not a hopeless case, I don't think. But I think the future. I think he's going to be a better dog down the line a little bit. But what he's done so far has been great, especially for someone like me that's only got a handful of dogs. It's tremendous.
That's it. Well, Pat, thanks ever so much for your time. Thanks for letting us know how Fred's getting on, and and good luck to him on Sunday, and good luck. We do hope he runs really well, and whatever happens, I'm sure when I see you coming off the track, win, lose or draw, I'm sure that you and Fred will both have a big smile on your faces.
Yeah, no, we're going to have a good day, and I'd just like to say thanks for Sheffield, thanks for the sponsors, and good luck to all the others in the race. I just hope everyone comes off safe.
That's great. Well, thanks very much. That's wonderful sentiments. Cheers, Pat. Thank you.
All the best.
So I'm here with Jimmy Fenwick, trainer of Wiki Ned, who's drawn trap 6 in the final of the Time Greyhound Nutrition 3 Steps to Victory. First of all, welcome, Jimmy. Thanks very much for your time today, and congratulations on getting Ned through to yet another Cat 1 final here at Allerton.
Yeah, it was a good day last Sunday, and in the semi-final, Robbie he kind of broke very smartly, and I thought he ran exceptional, really, and really sparkled on the day. And what impressed me is how he was after the winning line going the trip. He was, going really, really hard. I was very, very impressed at how he stayed the distance from the winning line to the trip.
Yeah, no, exactly. Obviously, he was the quickest of our semi-final winners in a time of 28:45, which is no mean feat to do around Sheffield. And I believe that is his quickest time that he has done at Sheffield in all of the runs that he's had there.
Yeah, I thought it was an exceptional run, really. Just to the eye, I knew it was a quick run, and I just felt that it was a really, really hot day. And the track, to be fair, was drying up because of the heat. So I thought on the conditions and how the conditions were, I thought it was a seriously good run.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's great. That's brilliant. How's the preparation gone so far this week?
It's gone well. He come up the race really, really good. Good week so far. If I haven't checked over, everything was perfectly okay with the dog, and we'll just work on a few things which we have in the past leading up to the race. And, the trap draw, obviously, you look at it on him and you think, is it a good trap draw? Is it a bad trap draw for him being a reeling dog? But a lot of these races, because it's such a short run to the bend, it's actually how well you come out the traps. And you have 5 dogs that's on his inside, are all going to look for the same kind of space. You know, one thing being on the outside, there's nothing going to be coming in on you from the outside, so that's in his favour. You know, so and sometimes track one for Ned's not always his best box. The way he's realised, he doesn't really come out of track one sometimes. You know, so that could have been a draw which, if you didn't come away from that position where you start on the bend, you could get trapped in on the bend quite early. So it's a hard one to say if it's a good draw or it's a bad draw. How I see the race is that, you know, we're going to have to start really well and keep our line and cut across, and hopefully we can, you know, if we don't lead on the first and second corner, it's just to stay handy behind whatever's led. And just obviously his 4 bend pace is fabulous, as we know, and we know that you can stay a little bit further than the 500 metres, and so we'll be, you know, but I wouldn't want to think that he's coming from behind 5 of the dogs after the first bend, because that'll be an uphill task. I would feel that we need to be doing it from the front or very near the front around the first 2 bends.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. That's great. And obviously, you've touched on the draw, with being in 6, obviously not quite ideal. Were there any of the, when you saw the semi-finals on Sunday, any of the other dogs really caught your eye? Did any of them really catch your eye, or are you still quietly confident?
You know, Clem's Bear, impressive. You know, to come from the distance he did to catch Gary's dog on the home straight, and powered away. He has obviously run over the further length of distance before, you know. So, but he's a very, very good dog. But sometimes he doesn't come away that great, and being behind in a final is not always the place to be. If that happens, you see, he doesn't come away, and you've got like the rest of the field are going to want the inside pitch, and if some of them drop on the rail, it's something that Barnfield Bear, Chelmsford Bear is going to have to, you know, to navigate his way through. If that's the case, you know, maybe he comes out really well, holds his pitch, and he can have a clear track to run on, you know. So that could be the case, but you know, it's one of these things in finals. Sometimes you just don't know what's going to happen. You know, you just got to like look forward to it, and whatever will be, Rob. You know, like we're hoping that Ned can get a flying exit and then be in a position that he can actually like dictate the race. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah.
You know, that's how we read the race and what we want would like to come up really well and dictate the race. That's what we're wanting to happen, you know. Well, whether that happens is another thing. It's ground racing. You put them in the boxes and you don't know what's going to happen in a race, you know.
Well, one thing for sure, whatever the result, I know that we're going to have a mouth-watering final, and to just after 5 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, we'll have worked out the puzzle that is the final of the Time Ground Nutrition 3 Steps to Victory. Thanks ever so much for your time today, Jimmy, and very good luck to Ned on Sunday, and I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Thanks ever so much.
That's great, Rob. Thank you very much. See you Sunday.
Cheers. Thank you.